Thank you very much. I think everything was said. We decided together not to cut the rhythm of this presentation because it was already short. So I'm available to answer your questions if necessary. As far as the planning is concerned, the schedule is concerned, it's a project, it's a short-term project. The idea is not to have a huge project. We want to use it as a demo, to demo what we can do with hydrogen, to prove that it works, and duplicate this project in other territories, Caribbean territories, and on other islands. Very interesting complement. If we have some time, I would like to add something. It's absolutely necessary to have projects being developed gradually, project per project. The HYGI project, which is hydrogen that we've done locally, several benefits. We are producing 2 kilos of hydrogen per day, which is not huge, and we can store 16 kilos. We can run 2 vehicles, but we felt a demand and an interest for hydrogen starting when we did that, when we started producing it. We are living in territories which are quite slightly reluctant or very cautious, let's say, cautious. So we have to do it gradually. We have to make some experience. We have to prove. We have to show proof of concept to do the first projects, small ones, average ones, medium ones, develop them. And we have to do maintenance on electrolyzers, for instance. And we also have to, without mentioning any brands, a vehicle producer will train very soon, next year, 2 of their technicians on the maintenance of hydrogen vehicles. So it is something that will allow us to make progress in this field, and we'll have more trainings, more schools in the future. I think it was useful to add this, to explain to you this increasing of the scale of the pyramid, and we are adding more and more projects around it. It's a private player doing this type of initiative. So what about the people, the people's position facing this strategy, this roadmap? I think it's really complementary. The roadmap allows us to have a longer view of what can be hydrogen on our territory. This advantage is to show that it is possible, it is feasible, and also we can test the first technical milestones. You were talking about the training and the maintenance. If you take the example of buses, when you bring a bus and you have it in Guadeloupe, you will need a maintenance warehouse dedicated to hydrogen. So far, we have it with gas, so we need safety and security decisions. A mechanic or a technician who will work on a hydrogen bus will need a necessary training. The maintenance, the gestures will be different. The protocol will be different. In order to avoid any incident, the way of driving a hydrogen bus is different. So you need training also for the drivers. And then the whole ecosystem around it will have to be planned. Here, this is one operation. Tomorrow, if we have a bigger operation, a wider one, we have to anticipate it. Right now, training, future needs, with whom are we going to work, and how can we develop the skills locally? So we need to have partnerships with other people so that they can develop their own expertise in hydrogen. And again, in the Caribbean area, we should be the first ones to explore this energy vector. Tomorrow, Guadeloupe could develop their skills and support the rest of the Caribbean territories on the development of hydrogen structure installations. So it's very clear, as we saw before, it is crossing the developing on electrical vehicles, the PPE. It's innovation with a far wind startup. So we have to cooperate. So what about all this adequation? What about this ecosystem? How are you going to develop it, to implement? I think the three of us, we gave quite a lot of information. I think the network is really important. Networking is very important. Partners, the region, SARA. We need the help of institutional support, networking, the Hydrogen Club, SELGI, France HYGI network. The region, again, should be a member. The idea is to mutualize all the experiments, national and internationally, and see how we can replicate this on our islands. Not everything has to be duplicated because we have climate and seismic risks, of course. The regions are different from others. We have specific topographies. Having a hydrogen bus in the metropolis is different from having it here. The line in Guadeloupe, like Petit-Bourg, Grande-Terre, are different from the ones you have between Pointe-Noire and Esther. So we have to take into account all these parameters, but networking is one of the main conditions to reach this objective. Now, imagine I visit you, Pedro, and I tell you I have a hydrogen project. How is it going to work? It's going to work very well. We will be listening to you. We are a company, a private company, quite big in the Caribbean. We will not do everything. This is why we have partners, maybe more agile or older or maybe smaller or startups, where we keep a benevolent eye toward these companies having projects, visiting us. We are not going to say anything. We cannot accept anything. We have shareholders, of course, but honestly, we look at a lot of projects. And again, the networking aspect is very important. And as Ludovic said, the networking aspect, and we need to benefit from the REX, return on experience from the others. When you look at the other regions launching this policy, their roadmaps with a certain number of players, after 2 or 3 years, you know what works, what doesn't work, and you know how to identify an interesting project. Yes, we've seen this POC, which is very ambitious for the territory. I'm talking to you, Laure Profit. How was it done, the match, the POC? Well, I cannot go into too many details because I was not part of the company at the time of the match, but there is a lot of consistency in this consortium. This energy, the solar energy, basically developments on mobility are directly related to the Guadeloupe network. We cannot use all the energy we would like to have. So the idea is to be diversified. We know how to build solar plant. So what is the mobility vector of the future? We think it is hydrogen. And the SARA company, it's the heart of the business. It's expertise that we do not have. That was a very nice match then. It's also a story of meeting other people, very curious people and very open people. At some point, you may have companies, organizations, but you need people, of course. And I'm sure that all the people present here are really interested. And Andres is one of them. They have a vision. And we are also expecting from the region this vision because the human aspect is very important. And we need to be curious enough. We need to want to do it. This is how it happened